So we're back in our AMC theater and we're gonna see Saw.
Yeah.
But what is it?
The Unrated for the 20th anniversary.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah! Yes! Yes!
Yeah, because it's the 20th anniversary, and as a diehard, well, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a diehard, but I'm a fan of this series because it's a series that I grew up seeing. And I have seen this movie on the PSP, but I'm like, you know what? Let's watch it in theaters. Let's experience
What it's like watching the Saw movie if somebody was in back in the day in 2004.
Yeah, because this movie, I was 3 years old, but I was like,
I was 4.
I haven't seen it yet. But as always, let's go see the movie.
Shut up, everybody. Listen.
Tobin Bell here. I join you today in celebration of 20 years of Saw. When we made this movie so many years ago, none of us could have predicted how this landmark horror film would ultimately launch an iconic franchise. I want to play a game. But beyond that, none of us could have foreseen how it would change us. While many of you might feel as though Saw has been a gift to you, I can truly say that Saw has been a gift to me as well. It's given me 20 years of interactions with fans like you, 20 years of meeting you at conventions and on the street, 20 years of your insightful questions about the character and about Saul. And because of your love for Saul, keeping this story ongoing for 2 decades, I've been allowed the opportunity to reflect on and refine who John Kramer is. A complex man with a complex view of the world around him.
The newspapers started calling him the Jigsaw Killer. Actually, technically speaking, he's not really a murderer. He never killed anyone.
And so it's fitting that we come back tonight to celebrate 20 years of Saw, where it all began, on the big screen. You'll be seeing this unrated version for the first time ever in theaters. So producers Mark Berg and Oren Koulis, creators James Wan and Lee Wanell, and last but not least, my friend Billy the Puppet, join me in saying thank you for embracing our film as you have. To all the dedicated Saw fans and the soon-to-be Saw fans of a new generation, this evening is dedicated to you. Enjoy the show. Live or die. Make your choice.
Yeah! All right!
So we have returned after Saw, and what do we think about the movie?
I think
It's still
even though
it's
I
still
seeing this first one. It's still better on looking at it on the big screen.
Yeah. I mean, the first film holds up, but like I gotta say, like even though I have seen this movie in the on the PSP, which you could see it right here, and I gotta say this movie is still a masterpiece.
Yep, till this day.
To this day, and like not only did this movie made money, but it spawned in a $1 billion franchise, which leads up to 10 films. And of course we had Lionsgate get popularized, because this was before Lionsgate was a major studio. But yeah, like I gotta say, this movie, it's still one of my favorite movies. It still holds up. I just, like, revisiting this movie in theaters was the best experience I had, because, as I say, I never watched this movie in theaters because I was 3 years old when this movie came out. But watching this was fantastic. So like, I got nothing else to say. Like, what about you?
Even if I seen the first one not in theaters, but this is my first time actually seeing it, just like you did.
Yeah.
Even though that movie came out 20 years ago, I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have not seen the first one ever since then. But since you mentioned I would give it a try, I started watching the entire franchise leading till one of our latest vlogs since we've seen Saw X.
Yeah, because like I have seen all these sequels, and like apart from like Saw 6 and Saw X are the best of the series, but the first Saw movie is the best of the series. Like, cause we started from Saw 2, and then from there we build it up to what is the final chapter, which is regarded as the worst one out of the franchise, even though that title goes to Spiral. But like watching this movie in theaters was probably the best experience I had, because I never watched the first Saw movie, but I did again on the PSP, but I just didn't watch it in a physical disc around that period. But watching this was probably the best experience I had, because I'm a fan of the series. I never played the first two games that on the Xbox, and like it's great to see this on the big screen. And something that I liked was that like you were in the bathroom.
Yeah.
But I was in there, and they showed Tobin Bell. He was saying thank you to the Saw fans for making this franchise be popular, and I was just like, that's
last 20 years.
For the last 20 years. I'm like, wow.
I missed that,
But he will be in the next Saw film, Saw 11, which
comes out September 26th,
and
2025.
and it's confirmed that Kevin Greuter, who edited the first Saw movie to Saw X, he didn't edit Spiral. Instead he was a executive producer on that film. But it's also confirmed that Marcus Dunstan and Patrick Melton, who wrote Saw 4 to Saw 3D, are returning to write the screenplay. And I'm actually excited for the next film, and watching this film again is the best experience I had in the theater, because right until the ending, like even I have seen this movie like for quite a number of years now, but when we saw Tobin Bell stand up in the bathroom, that's where my jaw dropped. It was
because he was there the whole time. If you've seen the first one,
yeah,
he was just like faking out like he's being some random person who was dead already.
Yeah.
But as soon as the score,
Charlie Clouser score, who composed all the Saw films,
he started rising up, take off the thing.
Yeah, that's where I just like, okay, I lost my mind.
And my favorite part was the game over,
where he shuts the door, and and what's interesting is that after that scene, we cut to, well, if you've seen all the Saw films, which I'm gonna tell you right here, we see that Gordon is crawling in that film, and later he uses a steam pipe to cauterize his wound. And very graphic, which I'm not going to show it here because I don't want my video to get taken down or age restricted.
Because of YouTube, obviously.
But that part also does fill up, because in the if you want, because this Jigsaw takes place before Saw, and then after this, Saw X, Saw 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 3D, and I'm just like, okay, I see where the timeline fits, because. And one thing that I do like, and not the timeline, is that we find out more about Gordon, how he was cheating on his wife. He was having would I say a relationship to one of his patients, not his patients, but one of his doctors.
It's more like a student, like trying to study of becoming like
a doctor.
Yeah.
And what's also interesting is that Adam was a private investigator, and that led up to his capture, and that's where we ended up in the bathroom. Tappet finds out that someone is in Gordon's house, and speaking of Tap, he, like, even though he's barely in it, it still helps out how he's trying to fill in who or where the game is taking place. What else? I guess there's nothing that I didn't like about this movie, because like I feel like you have to remember that this movie was made on a budget of $1.1 million. And it grossed $107, I believe it was $107 million, and from there now the Saw series has grossed $2 billion or over $1 billion, I presume. But no, I really enjoyed this film, and like I said, like I won't lie, there was some funny moments with Adam.
Yeah.
Like even though he what's funny is that he's played by the writer of this movie, Saw 2 and Saw 3, and I gotta say he was kind of funny though. And interesting enough, he's gonna direct the remake of The Wolfman. And not only like I really enjoy this film, and it's still regarded as the best Saw series. And just watching this was probably the best thing about it. And now we're gonna watch. Well, before we watch Terrifier 3, enjoy this tribute of Saw. Happy 20th anniversary to the Saw fans.
Congratulations.
And let the game begin. So we are at the premiere of Terrifier 3, and as you can see, I already got my shirt. And you didn't.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I don't
Yeah.
have one. But I'll see if I find one soon.
Yeah, so we just came back from seeing Saw. So, are you ready to see Terrifier?
Terrifier 3,
Yep.
indeed.
All right, ready or not, let's do this. We have returned, and I don't know what the hell I just witnessed. So we just got back watching from Terrifier 3, and we need some holy water.
You damn right.
Yeah.
Cause I don't know what the hell I just seen. So I don't know what to say, cause this was one of the most ultra violent horror films I've seen. Like, good lord, like the violence in this movie is over the top, but silly though. So I want to keep in mind that we have seen the first two films, not in the cinema,
Yeah. But this is like my first time watching one of these films
in the theaters.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I love the experience of these watching this, because just the insane mind that Damien Leone comes up with. So let's just do this, because let's do a recap of the stories, because I don't think this is a film for anyone. I feel like if you love Gorefest, or if you're into the grindhouse cinema, then you're gonna love this. So what is the first one?
Well, you've seen this like a Halloween game.
Because in the first movie, which I'm gonna retell the story, since this is I don't recommend watching these films.
Yeah.
Because this is a movie that you have to stomach. Like, you have to have a strong stomach to,
yeah. In order to probably if you survive.
Yeah.
These types of films.
I don't know how this got made. Well, I mean, people go see these movies.
Yeah.
But so in the first one, Art is human.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's human, and he stalks two girls, Tara and Dawn.
Yep.
Who like I said, we won't go into details, and I won't post or I won't show any of these scenes, because otherwise I won't get in trouble by YouTube. Yep. But let's just say that they don't survive, and Art comes back, and in the sequel, which takes place a year after
the events from the first one.
Yeah, so in that movie, Art meets a pale girl who turns out to be
which is like
a demon.
A demon, yeah.
And from there, Art is now a demonic entity, or a supernatural character. That's the way I would describe him. And well, let's just say Art never disappoints. And I'll say this: I love the actor that plays Art, David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown. And I gotta say, if he wants to be, because I heard that he wants to do the Joker, I could see him be the Joker.
That'd be insane.
But nah, I actually like the acting in this movie. The acting is better, because with Terrifier 2, it's an improvement of the first one. The first one just looks like a student film stretched to a feature-length movie. Because let me say this, like, the first one is decent, but it's not good. It barely has a plot. There isn't much story or character development. It's a special effects house, and I gotta say, the special effects are in this third one is good. Like, you gotta admit, this movie had a budget of $2 million, the first one is 35,000, and then the sequel was. I need to check the budget of it, but no, this is something else. Like, and I'll say this: Damien Leone is improving as a filmmaker, because with Terrifier 2, like it's an improvement, great cinematography, and surprisingly, there's funny moments where art is. There's a dream sequence with what's her name, Serena, right?
Serena, yeah.
Where Art pulls out a Thompson, and there's your favorite scene where Art sets someone on fire and does the little.
Yeah.
That part is funny, and so what do we think of Terrifier 3? Since now we've seen both. Well, I saw them yesterday back to back. So what do you think of the third one? Brutal. The word, like, you may not hear, but there's the sound. But this film is brutal. Like, Terrifier 1 had the, again, I won't go into detail, but let's say a saw scene. That's it.
Yeah.
Terrifier 2, there's the bedroom scene, and I gotta say, the chainsaw, whoa.
Didn't expect the chainsaw.
I did not expect the chainsaw to come out, but as soon as, well, let's say two people, you know, and Art just goes in. I'm just like, like, you seen the meme of Quagmire drop his chin?
Oh yeah,
that was
jaw dropped.
My jaw dropped. I'm like, what the hell is this? And as soon as
I wouldn't go spoil the detail if you've seen that.
But let's say,
there's probably some explosives you might see.
The children's scene was where I'm like, I knew it. Like,
my jaw dropped, honestly.
It's silly, over the top bloodshed, and I'm just like, this movie is a special effects movie.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I love the acting of Sabrina, played by Lorena Larveria. She is. I think she is a terrific actress.
Yep.
And I gotta say, like, each actor gets better in this movie, because in the last movie, which takes place 5 years,
yep,
Sabrina is suffering from PTSD PTSD.
Yeah, you're right.
So
that's why she took in some medications.
Because the thing that I like about in these kind of horror films where characters learn from the trauma that they face, Sabrina suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, and she just, like, I feel bad for her, honestly.
Yeah. After the suffering she suffered.
Because in the last film,
even her brother,
who again, we're not going to spoil it, because there's been theories. Let's say that.
Yeah.
But the end. This movie is gross, and that's the best. And that's the thing I like about these movies, is that they're gross, they're fun, and they're pretty much the grindhouse theater rooms that. Like movies like Planet Terror and well, you know what? One of my favorite movies, Hobo with a Shotgun.
Oh yeah.
It has it looks cheap, and it looks great, and because you know me, I like horror movies that have the over the top gore house, like the Evil Dead series, and the Saw series, which I mean the Saw series is realistic.
Yeah.
With Terrifier 3, they say we're gonna cross that line. If you thought Saw 3D crossed that line, Terrifier, wait until you see the bathroom scene. They said no. You know what? We're gonna cross that line.
Oh yeah.
But no, Terrifier 3 is. You know what? This might be the best one of the series.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say this: Terrifier 2 is my favorite of the series.
Same.
The first one is decent, but it's beyond average.
It's average, I would say.
Terrifier 3 is an improvement over the second one. I feel like each sequel gets better and better.
Yep.
And not only that, we're gonna get a fourth one, and I'm just like, yep, we're gonna get a fourth one. But here's the catch: it's gonna be the last one.
Yeah.
And I hope it's the last one, because they did leave stuff out. I guess we'll do a minor spoiler. So what's her name? Gabby, yeah. So Gabby goes to hell, and I'm like, okay, so
the only thing is,
how is she gonna get her back?
Yeah.
Because I think in the ending, it implies that Satan himself takes possession of Art. So now Art is on the loose again.
Yep.
Cause in the what's her name, the one ugly one, Victoria, who is the sister of Tara, who gets possessed by Satan himself. Cause in the scene in the movie where Sabrina's checking the note, we find out that the pale girl is Satan himself, and
who possessed
Victoria, and now Art is she's the vessel, and Art is loyal to his master. And one nice detail where she's honking the horn, you can see Art is like,
yeah,
because it leads me to believe that Art he doesn't want to be loyal. He doesn't want to work with his boss. And it implies that Art is like, yeah, I don't want to work with you, but you brought my ass back, so I'm gonna have some fun.
Like I always have.
But I'll say this, David Howard Thornton, like, I don't know how he has the stomach to play Art. You would think, like, he's like, yeah, I'm not planning to do with this. But I'll say this, Art is one of my favorite horror villains. I think he's growing on me. Let's say that.
Yeah, but I have my favorites always, like Michael Myers,
Freddy
Krueger,
yeah,
Jason Voorhees.
Right now Art is becoming so popular to the point that he has his own merchandise.
Oh, and Ghostface, forgot Ghostface.
Oh yeah, Ghostface.
He's one of my favorites.
He's also one of my favorites, and there's the collector, Jigsaw. Like there's plenty of horror icons, and I feel like Art deserves to hang out with his friends, Freddy and Jason, Michael, Ghostface.
If he wants to make it to the Mount Rushmore of horror.
Yeah, because Art the Clown is I'll say this, he's evil.
I forgot Pennywise.
Pennywise. You know what? Pennywise is gonna be like, Art, let me push you aside, bro, fam. But what can I say? David Howard Thornton is very good at playing Art the Clown. So now that the next one is the last one, which
we don't know
we know that this ain't gonna be the last.
Yeah.
They're gonna say, no, the fourth one's the last, but we're gonna continue more because these movies make money. This one had a budget of $2 million, and guess what? It grossed $63 million. So that implies that we're gonna get another one, but I'm excited for the next one. And here's what's great about Terrifier 3. I think that makes me like it more is that there's cameos.
Yep.
Tom Savini and Clint Howard, and another two actors that I know, but I forgot their names. But it's glad to see them, especially Tom Savini, who was a inspiration of not David Howard Thornton, but Damien Leone, who's a makeup effects artist. Who I gotta say, the gore, like I say, I'm not a huge gore fest. I'm not a fan of the gore, but there's some pretty interesting practical effects for a movie that costs $2 million. But yeah, very excited for the next one, and let's give our review. If we had to rate this, how much will we give it?
My opinion, 4 stars. 4 out of 5.
I would say this 4 out of 5. But I really enjoyed Terrifier 3. So we're excited for the 4th one, but we have to wait
until if they give it a release date.
Yeah, because because Damien Leone addressed that. He's confirmed in his own words that Terrifier 4 will be the last. I'm like, come on, this ain't the last.
Yeah.
Because let's think about it. The Friday the 13th films, Halloween, Scream, Saw, Nightmare on Elm Street, they make more money because, horror fans love horror films. Well, yeah. Well, let's take a look at the posters.